My name is Julia, and I remember the exact moment I decided to learn English. I was watching a movie without subtitles, and I didn't understand anything. The actors were talking fast, and I felt lost. I paused the movie and thought, I don't want to feel this way again. That moment changed everything for me. I was afraid to start because I thought I was too old and too slow, but I learned something important. The first step is always the hardest, but it's also the most important. I started small. I downloaded a free app on my phone and began learning just 5 words every day. It didn't feel like much at first, but slowly I started to see progress. Many people wait for the perfect time to begin learning English. They think they need a special book, a great teacher, or more free time. But the truth is, the perfect time never comes. I used to say, maybe next month I'll start seriously. But one day I told myself, why not today? I had just 10 minutes, but I used them. I watched a short English video with subtitles. I learned 2 new words. And you know what? I felt proud. Learning English doesn't need hours every day. You just need to start, even if it's a few minutes. Those minutes grow, and so does your confidence. One of the biggest problems I had was speaking. I understood more and more, but when I wanted to speak, I froze. I was shy, and I didn't want to make mistakes. Then I read a tip: talk to yourself in the mirror. At first, it felt strange. I stood in front of the mirror and said, "Hello, my name is Julia." I smiled. Then I said more. Today, I feel happy because I'm learning English. I did this every morning for 5 minutes. After a week, I felt more comfortable. After a month, I could speak full sentences. Talking to the mirror helped me hear my voice and correct my mistakes without fear. I spend a lot of time in the kitchen, so I decided to turn that time into English time. I put small sticky notes on everything: fridge, spoon, knife, plate, sugar, salt. Every time I cooked, I said the words out loud. Now I take the spoon. I add sugar. It made cooking more fun and helped me remember vocabulary better. I also listened to easy English podcasts while cooking. I didn't understand everything, but I always caught a few words. After 1 month, I was understanding more. The kitchen became my classroom. And the best part? It didn't feel like studying. One evening, I found a book called Easy English Stories. The first story was about a man who lost his hat. It was funny and simple. I could understand it, and that made me feel smart. I read the whole book in a week. Then I read another one. Reading helped me see how sentences work in English. I wrote down new words in a notebook. I also wrote simple sentences using those words. My writing and vocabulary improved fast. Reading became my favorite part of learning. I read a little every night before bed, and it helped me relax, too. I used to be afraid of making mistakes. I wanted every sentence to be perfect, but that made me silent. I was too scared to speak. Then one day, I joined a free English speaking group online. Everyone was learning, and no one was perfect. I made a lot of mistakes, but the teacher smiled and said, "Mistakes mean you are trying." That changed everything. I started speaking more. Sometimes I used the wrong word or tense, but people still understood me. And every mistake helped me learn. Now I say, mistakes are my teachers. One day, I listened to a song called Imagine by John Lennon. I liked the music and the soft voice. I found the lyrics and read them while listening. I understood some parts and others were new. I looked up the words I didn't know. Then I listened again and again. Soon, I could sing along. Music helped me learn how native speakers pronounce words. I also learned many new phrases. After that, I started learning one new song every week. It didn't feel like studying, but my English improved a lot. Music became my favorite English teacher. When I visited a museum, I saw a tourist looking lost. I took a deep breath and said in English, "Can I help you?" He smiled and said yes. We talked for 5 minutes and I was so proud. After that, I made a rule: talk to one stranger in English every week. I talked to tourists in the city park, in cafes, and even in the supermarket. Sometimes I only said a few words, like, "Nice weather today." Other times, we had longer conversations. These small moments gave me real practice. They helped me feel brave. Talking to strangers became part of my learning journey. At first, learning English was something I had to remember to do. But I wanted it to become a habit, like brushing my teeth. So I made a small plan. Every morning, I watched one short English video. Every afternoon, I learned 3 new words. Every evening, I wrote one small paragraph in English about my day. It wasn't difficult, but I did it every day. After 1 month, I didn't need to think about it. It became part of my life. That's the secret: small, daily actions. They build your English like drops of water filling a glass. Learning alone can feel lonely. One day, I posted online in an English group. "Who wants to practice speaking with me?" A woman from Brazil replied. Her name was Anna, and she was also learning English. We started talking once a week on video. We made many mistakes, but we laughed a lot. We talked about food, travel, and family. We corrected each other and learned together. Having a learning friend made everything more fun. We helped each other stay motivated. Some days I felt lazy, but Anna would say, "Come on, let's practice." That friendship made my English stronger and my heart happy. Many people think they can only learn English in a classroom with a teacher and a book. But I learned so much outside the classroom. I watched signs in English on the street. I read instructions on packages and bottles. I looked at menus in English. One day, I bought shampoo with English words on the back. I read everything and understood half. I looked up the other words and smiled. I was learning in real life, not just in a book. English is everywhere if you open your eyes. You don't need to sit at a desk to learn. One big step in my journey was learning to think in English. At first, I translated everything in my head. I saw a cat and thought, "Dato, cat." It was slow. Then one day, I decided to stop translating. I tried to think directly in English, even for small things. I said in my mind, I'm hungry. The sun is shining. I need to buy milk. At first, it was hard. But slowly, my brain started to understand. Now, I think in English many times during the day. It helps me speak faster and more naturally. Every evening before bed, I wrote a few sentences about my day. I used simple English and wrote what I did, what I felt, and what I wanted. I wrote things like, "Today I cleaned the house. I felt tired but happy. I cooked rice and chicken." Writing helped me remember words better. It also helped me practice grammar without stress. After a few weeks, I could see my progress. My sentences became longer and better. My diary became a friend. I still have those notebooks, and I sometimes read them to see how far I've come. I used to be quiet in class. I didn't want to look stupid. But then I realized that asking questions is smart, not stupid. So I started asking every time I didn't understand something. I asked my teacher, my language partner, or I searched online. I wrote my questions in a notebook and found answers later. This habit helped me learn faster. Every question is like a door. When you ask, the door opens and you understand more. Now I teach my children to ask questions. It's the best way to grow. Children learn languages by listening, not by studying grammar. So I decided to listen like a child. I played English cartoons and easy shows in the background while cleaning or cooking. I didn't understand everything, but I caught some words. I listened again and again. Slowly, I started to understand more. I also repeated what I heard. I copied the sounds and the rhythm. It helped me with pronunciation. Children learn by hearing and repeating. I did the same, and it worked for me. My phone used to be full of social media apps. I spent hours scrolling but learned nothing. One day, I deleted some apps and downloaded English learning ones. I followed pages that shared short English videos, word tips, and fun games. I changed my phone's language to English. At first, it was confusing, but I learned fast. Now I use my phone to read short English texts, play word games, and listen to podcasts. My phone became my teacher. I still use it every day, but now it helps me grow. When I started learning, I wanted to speak only when I was perfect. But that day never came. I waited too long. Then I read a quote: "You don't have to be perfect to start. You just have to start." That changed my thinking. I began speaking with mistakes. I wrote with grammar errors. I used simple words, but I used them. And every time I used English, I improved. Waiting for perfection is a trap. You grow by doing, not by waiting. English is not just a subject. It is a part of my life now. I listen to English songs while walking. I read English articles while having coffee. I speak English with friends online. I even dream in English sometimes. I stopped thinking, I must study now. Instead, I said, I enjoy this. That change in my mind helped me love the process. When you love something, you do it more. And when you do it more, you get better. English became my lifestyle, not just my goal. One day, I ordered coffee in English, and the waiter understood me. I smiled the whole day. Another day, I watched a short film in English and understood almost all of it. These were small wins, but they gave me big energy. I started writing down my progress. Today, I learned 5 new words. Today, I spoke to a tourist. These small victories kept me motivated. Learning a language is a long road, and small wins are the signs that show you're moving forward. There were days when I felt tired. There were days when I forgot words I knew yesterday. I felt slow. I felt stuck. But I told myself, keep going. I remembered why I started. I wanted to feel confident. I wanted to travel, meet people, watch movies, and understand songs. So, I didn't give up. I took breaks when I needed, but I always came back. And now, I look back and smile. I didn't quit, and that's why I speak English today. When I started watching English movies, I couldn't understand much. The words were too fast, and I felt lost. But I didn't give up. I turned on English subtitles and watched again. I listened and read at the same time. My eyes followed the text, and my ears followed the sound. After some time, I started hearing the words without reading. Later, I turned off subtitles and understood more. Subtitles helped me connect the spoken words with how they looked. They helped me move from silence to understanding. Reading and writing are good, but speaking is different. At first, I was shy to speak out loud. But I realized that if I never spoke, I would never improve. So I began talking to myself at home. I described what I was doing. Now I'm washing the dishes. I will go shopping. It felt strange, but it helped. My mouth got used to the words. I also read texts out loud every day. It improved my pronunciation and confidence. Speaking out loud made English real, not just in my head. Learning English does not have to be boring. I found fun games online that helped me remember vocabulary. I played word search, crosswords, and matching games. I also used flashcards with pictures. These games made me smile and helped me remember words for longer. I even played with my kids. We competed to see who could say more English words about animals or food. Learning through games made everything more exciting. It didn't feel like work. It felt like fun. I work in a small office. Most of my coworkers speak our language. But one day, a new client came from Canada. I was nervous, but I said hello and tried to speak English. He smiled and helped me. After that, I started using English words in my emails and calls. I added English signs near my desk. I even offered to translate small things. My boss noticed and said I was brave. Using English at work gave me real practice. I became more useful in my job, too. Not everyone learns the same way. Some people love reading. Others like listening. I discovered that I learn best by writing things down and saying them out loud. So I started combining these methods. When I learned new words, I wrote them, said them, and used them in a sentence. If I only read, I forgot. But if I used my hands and mouth, I remembered better. Knowing how I learn helped me save time and enjoy the process more. I joined a website where people want to practice languages. I found English speakers who wanted to learn my language. We did language exchange. Half the time we spoke English, half the time my language. I made friends from many countries. We laughed, corrected each other, and talked about our cultures. This was more than practice. It was connection. Real conversation helped me learn the kind of English people actually use. It also helped me become more confident and open. Sometimes I recorded myself speaking in English. I told short stories or talked about my day. Then I listened to the recordings after a few weeks. I could hear my mistakes, but I also noticed my improvement. My voice sounded stronger. My grammar was better. I spoke more clearly. These recordings showed me that I was really learning, even when it felt slow. Listening to my own voice helped me fix mistakes and believe in myself more. I didn't study boring words I would never use. I learned words about my life, cooking, cleaning, my children, my job, my hobbies. I made lists of useful sentences, like, "Can I have a receipt?" or "Where is the nearest bus stop?" I practiced things I would actually say. This made my English real and practical. When I needed to speak in daily life, the words were already in my mind. English became part of my world, not a subject far away from me. Sometimes I forgot a word I knew last week. Sometimes I made silly mistakes. At first, I felt upset. But then I told myself, it's okay, you are learning. I treated myself like a friend. I encouraged myself. I celebrated progress, even small steps. I said, "You are doing well. You are trying. You are brave." Being kind to myself gave me energy to keep going. We all need patience, not pressure. Learning a language is not a race, it's a journey. Now, English is not just something I study, it's part of who I am. I use it every day. I enjoy it. I am proud of it. It helps me meet new people, understand the world, and grow. It has changed my life. I still make mistakes. I still learn every day. But now I smile when I speak, because I know how far I've come. And I know I will go even further. English is not just a language for me. It's my door to a bigger, brighter life.